4. huhtikuuta 2023 ja Suomi on Natossa. Minä sen sijaan olen vieläkin jumissa Alpeilla. Tossa striimaamattomina päivänä pikkasen laittelin noita tämän läpipelun vodeja uppimiskuntoon ja tulee olla kyllä yksi perse niitten uppiminen. Tää on jo 9. osa. Ja tää ei kyllä, että ei tule tänäänkään menee läpi. Siinä on sitten kyllä tekemistä, kun niitä uppii. Let's go. Ja vaikka mä tuonne otsikkoon nyt kirjoitinkin tästä. Otsikossa vähän viittasi WrestleManiaan, niin en kyllä siitä juttu hirveästi puhumaan tässä streamissä. Muuta kuin sanon, että tykkäsin kovasti. Ilmeisesti eilinen raavi oli sitten taas vähän heikompi esitys ja käynnistänyt taas spekulaatiot siitä, että onko Vince McMahon pallannut puikkoihin no niin kuin käsikirjoituksenkin osalta. PVhän nyt on tosiaan sitten, no ei vielä myyty, mutta ilmeisesti Endeavor kuitenkin sen on ostamassa. Se herättää taas paljon spekulaatioita tulevaisuudesta. Pelottoimpanahan on se, että VV saattaa nyt palata taas PPV-systeemiin, että se networkin kautta pystyy katsomaan noita isompia showta. Mä joudun maksamaan se useamman kympin joka kuukausi, jos haluat nähdä ne. Mikä on aika pelottava asia, koska sitten mulla kyllä loppuisi kattominen. Mä en niin suuri painifani ole. Joo. Tässä me nyt jäätiin semmoiseen tilanteeseen, että me pitäisi ruveta selvittämään tämän kylän, tai siis tuon luostarin syntytarinaa. Tässä johtolankoa meillä siihen niin, ja meillä oli toi kirja. Pitäisi saada käännettyä. Okei, nunnelta voidaan käydä kyselemässä tai papilta. Elsäältä. Tässä vähän viitattiin siihen myös, että voisin myös noita luostarin raunioita tutkimaan, mikä kuulostaa aika houkuttelevalta. Ja sitten tuosta historiatasieista voitaisiin siis kysellä. Sisar Gertrudilta, Palttaselta, tohtori Scholzilta tai isä Thomasilta. Tuolla Gertnereillä sitä on merkki. Ei sitä mä nyt oikein ymmärrä. Anyway. Mitä täällä on tapahtunut? Hey Magdalene, Commodore were well-chiseled craftsman at his best. I suppose that means no. Alright, you made your point. It really and truly means no. You got it, Craft. Well, I still got my wits with me, Magda. Have you come to see the repairs I've been doing then? To tell the truth, it's not going as well as I'd hoped. What seems to be the issue? I assumed I'd hit a snack eater when it came to the stone or the tools or my lack of artistic skill. But it's more than that. It's like, in my head I can't see the right way. Besides, my dad wants me to help out on the farm. I want to be there, but Grandpa taught me everything about the craft. He really wanted me to succeed, and I do enjoy the work. It's as if I can talk to the stone, you know? Not literally, but I can see how lines of tension flow throughout the rock. I understand how to form one thing from the other, how to make something that lasts. Grandpa even offered to sponsor an apprenticeship under a master stonemason. Dad will support me either way, but I still feel like I'm pulled both directions at once, you know? Agnes is offering Craft a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. With the right master, he could really make something of himself. He should go. His family will be alright without him, right? You'll have to figure out the answer for yourself. I can't help you with this. I know. Have you found answers to all the questions that know at you? Some of them, I think. I suppose that gives me hope. Even you don't have everything figured out. How do you know what to do? I proceed and solve problems as they arise. Sounds annoying. Christ, this is hard. I don't know what to do. I think you should take the apprenticeship. It's better than staying at Tassing, right? I don't know. I like it here and I have enough experience from Grandpa to keep going. Besides, if I'm gone, there will be no one to look after the townstone. The church's foundation is in serious condition, and who's to say there won't be another flood come spring? No, I think I should stay. I'll have to tell Grandma. I've made up my mind soon. Well, thanks for listening to me, Magdalene. No problem. I got to get back to work. I'm still reinforcing the walls of the church. To be honest, I'd like to reuse stones from the ruins of the abbey, but Father Thomas forbids it. Says it's unseemly. It's just quality stone going to waste. I don't get it. He's been meek, as he always is. I don't understand Father Thomas sometimes. Alright, stay well. Until later, Magdalene. Until later, Craft. Hey, Magdalene. Good morning, Magdalene. Oh. Lost man. Täällähän tää lääkäri. Hey, wake up! You were supposed to come check on Dad today. I'm not that strength to carry him home. I have to tell someone. Maybe Baltas. They're still on friendly terms. Dancy could help. Or Big York. He's strong. He can do it. What a mess. Hello, Baltas, do you have a moment? Only one, I'm afraid. What can I do for you? Puhutaanko sitä kirjasta? I came across a book about the history of Tashing, and I was hoping you could help me read it. Oh no, not today. I'm far too busy for that at the moment. Ignacio and I have our hands full preparing the Christmas ale, you see. Of course, sorry to bother you. Not at all. Apologies, I couldn't be of more help. Hello, Magdalene. What can I do for you? I found Dr. Stolz passed out drunk in the commons, sleeping in a ditch. Oh, I see. This is becoming an increasing problem, isn't it? I shall fetch Ignacio and we will carry him home safely. Thank you for letting me know, Magdalene. Ciao, Magdalene. Ciao, Ignacio. Come stai? Hello, Ignacio. How are you? Better. Good. The winter is approaching quickly, no? What is it to say here? Pears have pinching at your nose? You got onto our customs quickly. Yes, Baltas is a good teacher. He has explained many of your funny Bavarian sayings to me. I must admit, they are rather charming, even if the language is a bit rough to my tongue. Will you be staying in Tashing long enough to learn more of our funny sayings? I should return to Genoa soon, but Baltas and I still have some business to conduct. It has taken longer than I anticipated to complete. His accounts are complex. I may be forced to remain a few more weeks. Dio, who knows? Are you sure the bookkeeping is correct? You've already been in Tashing for so long. Oh yes, the numbers are perfectly correct. Baltas has many large accounts to manage and many interests across the continent. I only wish to return to Genoa before any heavy snowfall. Otherwise, no journey will take twice as long. My journey will take twice as long. I'll let you get back to work then. Gracias, Magdalena. Until later. Täällä se vähän rödöttää. Bless you, Magdalene. Good morning, Mr. Styrkarin. Morning, Magdalene. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless you, Magdalene. Hello, Magdalene. Hi, Magda. Need something? Maybe I'm looking into the history of Tashing. Tuo puhut tälle näistä asioista. Your grandpa said he told you a lot of things about the old ways. Can you recall anything? Yes, of course. I'm fortunate that both my grandfather and Ottilia taught me what they know. Her mind was still so sharp even up until the end. Sharp tongue too, as I recall. She would not suffer fools through. What do you remember from them? Grandpa taught me all sorts of charms and things to do to protect against evil. But I imagine you're not interested in that. He said that it was Bertha who protected the forest from witches, not St. John. God and his saints have dominion over the town and the abbey, but Bertha still watches over all of the wild places. What about Saint Satya? Grandpa believes in the saints just as he believes in Bertha. He said Bertha's power is shown in certain places and times. There is no conflict for the minion between her and the saints. I see. And Ottilia knew all these old chants in another language. She told me what they meant, but she couldn't translate them, I suppose. They had to do with Bertha, but also God and Saint Moritz. So where did they come from? She didn't know, but I think I figured it out after she passed. There were some people coming through town and I heard them speaking their language. It didn't quite sound like the words Ottilia used, but close. They say that Saint Moritz was the patron of their home too. Really? Where were they from? Graubünden. They were Swiss. They said there was a holy spring in their town that had been blessed by Saint Moritz. Romansh, spoken in Switzerland, dominantly in the canton of Graubünden in the Romance language. The Romance language developed from a blend of Vulgar Latin and early German. Oh, were they speaking Romance? Oh, I don't know. I only ever heard it that one time, other than from Ottilia, I mean. She said we all used to know the chants, the language, generations ago. I don't know. Maybe we weren't always the people here. What do you mean? Maybe we came from somewhere else. Our families, I mean. But people have been attacking since before the Romans came. That's what I've heard. People say mine has been here forever. But, oh, I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of things. Maybe there's no sense to be made of it. I don't know if any of that is useful to you. I'm glad Ursula told me all of this, but I can't imagine Father Thomas approves. Well, she's older than me. If she's made it this far, I suppose she'll be fine. I think. Even if it isn't useful, it's interesting. Good. Not everyone appreciates hearing about these things. I know. You should be careful, Ursula. Why? Not everyone is as open-minded as I am. I just don't want you to get in trouble. Alright, I appreciate the concern. Thank you for your help. Anytime. I'll see you later. Until then. Good morning, Magdalene. Hey, Max. Hello, Magdalene. Hello, Magda. Magda. Hello, Christina. Did you see the froggies on Sunday? I did. They were everywhere, weren't they? I've never seen so many together before. Father Thomas was so angry, but I think it's funny. Mummy says the twins did it and they're an example of children who don't follow the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments don't say anything about frogs though, do they? I don't think so. Does that mean they won't get in trouble with God? If they confess then no, God will forgive them and they won't be in trouble. Good, I like them, even if the adults have to scold them. Mom scolds me sometimes too, when I do something bad. That's why I try to listen to her and behave and say my prayers. You're a smart girl, Christina. Thanks, Magda. Mummy says so too. Ignacio Agostini, Corsican agent of the Genoese Bank of St. George, in tassing desperately trying to manage the prosperous accounts of the disinterested Baltas Izenkopf. Hello, Magdalene. Magdalene? Hello, Magdalene. Hello, Hans. Did you need something? Just wanted to see what you were doing. Well, I was just about to leave. I have to go meet Big Shark soon. Why? Stuff in the forest needs doing. What are you two planning? Nothing? We're just carrying logs. Why would you do that? We lift big logs to see who's stronger. It's a contest. Does anyone else participate in this contest? Not usually. There haven't been others in Tassing strong enough. But at a Big York. Simon's big like Seb was, but he's not interested. He's always busy taking care of the farm. Maybe Apollo can join us one day. He's been getting stout the last few years. Alright, who's winning so far? York, but barely. I've been gaining on him. He's growing older and softer with his council work. Haha. So this is a thing that men just do from time to time? Me and York, sure. I don't know about anyone else. You're welcome to join us, Magdalene. Perhaps you haven't noticed, but I'm not very big myself. That's why we got to get you hefting logs. Don't worry, we'll find you some smaller ones to start with. Maybe it'd put some meat on those bones. Thanks, but I need to focus on the mural. Oh, of course, I forgot. I should get back to work now. Until later, Magdalene. Until then. Kato joku bugi sitten, kun se näyttää täällä objektiivi. Haluaako mennä? Minä onhan kysyä Tomasilta siitä kirjasta. God bless you, Magdalene. And God bless you, Father Thomas. Do you have a moment? Of course. What can I help you with? I wanted to ask you about Tassing Saints. I'd like to represent them in the Rathaus. I'm thrilled to hear it. Saints will make a wonderful centerpiece for the murals. You misunderstand, Father. I may incorporate them, but there are other possibilities. Ah, then I will endeavor to convince you to include them. But you know, there is one saint you're overlooking. Why, the Blessed Virgin, of course, Mary. Many people forget that Mary is the greatest saint, and she visited one of the peasants here in Tassing centuries ago. The Virgin Mary appeared in Tassing? Why? Yes, she appeared to give a message. Centuries ago, a farmer in the fields behind us had 3 visions of Mary. In the first, she told him that she wanted him to tell the Bishop of Freising that she had appeared. The peasant travelled to Freising, but the bishop would not see or hear him. That's not a short trip. It certainly is not, but the peasant had received a holy vision. What else could one do in the face of a divine revelation? The peasant returned to Tassing and had another vision in the field. The Virgin showed him a pattern, a labyrinth. She told him to draw it on a sheet of birch bark and bring the drawing to the Bishop of Freising. The bishop attempted to turn the peasant away, but he could see the drawing of the labyrinth in his hands. It was the same image that the bishop had seen in a dream 3 nights earlier. He met with the peasant, who told him of the 2 apparitions he had seen here in Tassing. The bishop was moved by the peasant's story, and he came here, to Tassing. The bishop came here? He did. It's the only time the bishop has come to Tassing. Has ever come to Tassing. And when the bishop came, Mary appeared to both of them. She told the farmer that the town needed to build this church. She told the bishop to support this town. Was the town so poor that they couldn't have built it on their own? Oh, I don't know, but certainly the support of the bishop must have made it much easier. And so the bishop helped fund the creation of this church. The people of Tassing have been using it ever since. You're not from Tassing. How did you hear the story? True, I'm not. The people told me when I came. And the former priest told them when they were children, and so on. The priest at the flockhouse shared the responsibility of passing on the story over the centuries. Thank you for the story, Father Thomas. Have I convinced you to include the saints prominently in the mural? I'm still considering it. Well, if deliberation fails you, perhaps you will find that prayer gives greater clarity. God bless you and your work, Magdalene. God bless you, Father Thomas. Father Thomas told me about the history of Our Lady of the Labyrinth and how it came to be. I never realized there was a legend associated with it. I could paint Our Lady along with Saint Moritz and Saint Satia. That would be a nice way to honor all 3. Hello, Father Thomas. Can you spare a moment? Yes, of course, Magdalene. What is it? Well, I found this book, but I can't read the Latin very well. Could you help me translate it? The whole book? Oh dear, I can't afford that much time away from my duties right now. The Christmas sermon is coming up, and I've already fallen behind on Advent preparations. Could the matter wait? Perhaps I'd be happy to look it over after the festivities. Of course, Father. Thank you, Magdalene. Kävin Wikipediassa vähän lukemassa siitä mitralaisuudesta. Mä oikein muistin, että se oli tosiaan keisareja Roomassa vaikuttanut uskonto, suosittu sotilaiden keskuudessa. Ja siellä mainittiin, että ne mitralaisten temppelit, eli ne mitreiumit, niin ne rakennettiin niin kuin luoliin Tai kellareihin, maan alle. Joka tapauksessa. Ja jossain paikoissa oli sitten myöhemmin kirkkoja rakennettu niiden päällä. Mä veikkaan, että tässäkin on käynyt sillä. Koska tuo kirkon perustuksesta on puhuttu. Se on jännä kyllä, että toi isä Thomas on nyt niin pensästi suhtautuu siihen, että nämä kirkon perustukset korjattaisiin. Tietääkö se, että siellä alla sitten on jotain salaista? I still so beautiful, your mother. One more moment. All right, take your time. Oh, hello, Magdalene. Dad, look who it is. Good morning, Mr. Stuckering. Hello, Martha. Carl, how are you today? On our usual walk around town. November hasn't grown too cold yet. Dr. Stolt says Dad needs to keep using the leg or the pain will get worse. I'm getting old. Not that old you can sit around at home telling stories, huh? Do you listen to your daughter, Carl? You young girls think you're my keeper, is that it? I've always been your keeper, Dad. No argument from me, there. You're in good mood today, I see. Plenty of reason to be. Dashing never ceases to be beautiful to me. Isn't the meadow a wondrous sight, even in this season? On days the gods strengthened me, I like going a bit higher up the mountains. I used to admire to be with Anton from the... Ah, Anton, my poor boy. It's alright, Dad. You still miss your son? I think about him every day. I can't... It's my fault that he died. It's not, Dad. You know it's not. You shouldn't have been with me that night. You shouldn't have. I was a fool. What happened? I know I was there, but all I remember is the flames. What a fire it was, the whole abbey engulfed. I was bleeding. Anton tried to drag me out of the fight. Then that godforsaken lunch net stopped between us. I hope he burns in hell. I can't even imagine what that was like. How old were you during the revolt, Martha? 7 or so. I didn't understand what was happening. Someone brought Dad home in the middle of the night. It was dark, confusing. They were screaming outside. Mom and a couple of the men who brought Dad in were trying to patch up the wound, but it wouldn't stop bleeding. She kept shouting, "Where's Anton? Where's Anton?" There was blood on the floor. You cried so much he threw up. We couldn't get you to stop. I couldn't understand where Anton had gone. Dad tried to explain, but... Martha, my dear, enough of that. I'm so sorry. How did you go on? Did I? I don't know. Some nights I think I'm there still. The abbey is always burning. Well, Helena passed not too long after. I was left alone with Martha to care for. I had to keep going for Martha, and somehow my daughter grew into a wonderful woman despite it all. I suppose that was all Helena's doing. Dad. If I'm any good, it's because of you. I'm sorry I asked you to relive all that again. Oh no, it needs to be told. We can't let people forget. Not here, not anywhere else. The abbey burned, people died. We have to remember, and our children have to remember, because when no one remembers any longer, then they will all truly be dead. Each time we continue out with the walk, Dad. Yes, dear, I'm feeling much more alive now. Be well, you two. Hi, Max. Sorry, I can't talk for long right now. Hi, Killian. What's keeping you busy? You know, it's almost December. Preparing for the festivities is hard work. Mom and Dad need my help. They're not as spry as they used to be. It's a good thing to have you helping out. Yes, I'll make sure the golden hat becomes noteworthy across Bavaria. Isn't that a bit much for an inn? Hardly. Sure, merchants carry goods and pilgrims visit relics, but where would all of them sleep without a solid, reliable inn? The growth of Tassing, the construction of the rat house, the mural, these will only bring in more people. It's important they have a place to keep and it's important they have a place to sleep and warm food to keep them happy. How is the mural coming along anyway? One step at a time, learning about the history of Tassing is a challenge. Yeah, at least you can read in other languages. But if there's a history of Tassing in one of those books that no one here knows about? Hardly. I don't think this town has ever been important enough. Suppose so. Oh, I'm sorry, Magdalene. I really have to get back to work. Be well. Still that. Can't talk. I'm sorry? Don't be, it's fine. I'm Casimir, musician with Alexander. I'm Magdalene Trickerin. I live here in town. Are you Polish? Yes, from Kalisz. What are you doing in Tassing? Ask Alexander, sorry. Alright, I won't take up any more of your time. Thanks. God bless you. Hello. Are you one of the burgers? My man and I are in need of refreshments. No, I just live nearby. I'm Magdalene Trickerin. From the print shop we passed on the way to town. Yes, it's my father's. Not much business for a print shop at this time of year, is there? Not for a land house. It seems like the travel. It's like nor for a land house. It seems like the travel has all dried up. It happens every autumn. The weather turned rotten, and I was hoping we could wait it out here for a few days before moving on. I am Alexander. This is my partner Casimir. We are musicians by trade, travelers by necessity. We just purchased a new instrument for Casimir in Padua. Their luthiers are extraordinary. We're heading back to Würzburg for the Christmas celebration. We had an important competition there for the Meistersingers. The weather turned rotten so quickly. The rain has been awful, and the roads through the passes have all been mud. I don't know if we'll be able to make it to the competition now. If the pass is too close before we're able to move on, will they open up soon? Is March soon? Oh no. Oh god, no. I suppose I should plan for us to stay here through the winter. Sorry, guys. It's alright. Do the people here like music? Have you ever been someplace where people didn't like music? It pains me to admit this, but I've certainly been places where people don't like my music. Well, with your patience and Lord help, God's help, we will endeavor to find music you and your neighbors will enjoy. I look forward to hearing it. Thank you, until then. Good morning, Magdalene. What brings you to the Golden Hunt? I'm on my way to the Abbey. I thought it'd be helpful to explore the ruins for the mural. Lots of history to be uncovered there, no doubt. You mind yourself in that place. Could collapse any day now. Don't worry, I'll watch my step. You sure you do. I'd hate to have to tell Klaus I saw you last if you don't return. Say, Magdalene, would you mind doing me a favor on your way back to town? Hannah's birthday is coming up and I asked Red to make her something special. Killian and I have our hands full here, so I was hoping you might pick it up. Of course, I'd be happy to help. You're a credit to your mother, Magdalene, thank you. I'll have some of Baltas's fresh brews set aside for you when you get back. It's his best yet. I'll stop by the Albers on my way back from the Abbey. That will be just fine. Be well, Magdalene. Until later. Joo, mä muistan ton vielä silloin. I should talk to Sister Gertrude since she was a Benedictine nun at Kiersau before the poor Clares arrived. She would be able to tell me all about the convent's history for the mural. God bless you, Magdalene. Hello, sister. I have a favor to ask of you. Of course, Magdalene. I'll help you however I can. I have a book, the Historia Taciei, and I can't read it very well. Can you help me translate it? Oh, I'm afraid my Latin isn't good enough to translate something like that. Its grammar structures are far too complex. I'm sorry, Magdalene. That's alright, sister. I'll have to find another way. There was one more thing, if you don't mind. It's about the Rat House mural. Oh, did you need more paint? I believe I have enough gas stored away. No, thank you, sister. I have more than enough paint. I wanted to ask you about the history of Kiersau, actually. I'd like to include the Abbey's founding and the history of dashing saints to the Rathaus mural. I wrote to Reverend Matthew since he lived at the Abbey, but wanted to see the place firsthand. Brother Matthew became a reverend, did he? He was always suited to such a role. But I don't suppose that's what you came up the hill for. You're curious about the saint's history, yes? Yes, I was hoping you could show me around the convent and tell me about its history. The poor Clares don't allow outsiders within the convent, even other women. Mother Francisca wouldn't like anyone coming in for such a worldly concern. Well, that makes my job difficult. Let me finish Magdalene, Drukarin. However, Mother Francisca always welcomes those who are considering joining the order. If a young woman sincerely considers joining the convent, she may be allowed to enter and observe the sisters. Who knows what else she may discover while contemplating the holy life? Well, I suppose exploring all of my options can hurt. Touring the convent will take some time. Would you like to go see Mother Francisca now? No, I have other things to do first. Very well. Come find me if you change your mind. God bless you, Magdalene. Pitää valita, että meneekö me kiertää tätä nunnaluostaria vai munkkiluostarin raunioita, niin enköhän mä valitse sen jälkimmäisen. No, ehkäpä nyt vielä pääset ton. The vines have grown over the entrance to the old abbot's house. Mennään tänne sitten. God bless you, Magdalene. Would you like to go inside and meet with Mother Francisca now? Yes, let's go. Mother Francisca, I'd like to introduce Magdalene Drukarin. The printer's daughter, yes. God bless you, Magdalene. Father Thomas told us of your father's condition, and we pray for his recovery daily. Oh, thank you, Abbess. Such is our duty to serve the God, Lord, and the community that provides for us. Now, what is this about, Sister Gertrude? You know our holy rules. Why bring young Mistress Drukarin to me? Forgive me, Mother. Magdalene is searching for a place in the world and is contemplating the holy life. We thought observing the sisters might aid her in her spiritual search. She was encouraged by the idea. Right, yes. Ah, so you decided to consider my offer after all. If God is calling you to the convent, I am more than willing to help you fulfill that divine cause. What brought this change on? Why are you interested in joining the poor Clares? I'm worried that helping my father running the shop alone and finishing the mural are too much for me. Magdalene, you should not abdicate your worthy duties for fear of the unknown. However, I agree that walking a printing shop and painting are not suitable duties for a woman. Thank you, God, you have turned to us for help. It is no wonder you have felt overburdened by all of this. Please come, I am happy to tell you more of our order. Our small convent used to be part of the larger Kiersau double monastery, as I'm sure you've been told by Sister Gertrude. However, the poor Clares live far differently than the Benedictines that once lived here. We believe that it is not ours to produce, and live solely on the alms of the community of Tessing as they see fit to give. Likewise, none of the sisters here own any personal property. We share this convent as a gift from the church. We believe that the Lord calls us into a life of poverty and service. Does such a life appeal to you, Magdalene? I'm not entirely certain yet. I'd like to explore and look around, get a feel for the place. Magdalene, you must not have understood me. We have deliberately closed ourselves off from the world. I don't have a laywoman bothering the sisters from their duties or disturbing our rule. However, I will allow Sister Suzanne to show you our duties. Please take your time. When you have finished, please come find me and we will discuss your decision to join. Finally, I thought she'd never finish. What? Truthfully, I'm not here to join the convent. I'm looking for references for a mural I'm painting in the rat house. Time to start exploring. You can either come or not. Up to you. But Mother Francisca said... She said that as long as I'm with you, it's fine to look around. Are you really going to get us both in trouble? No, I always follow Mother Francisca's orders. The convent has many parts. The kitchen, the locarium, the chapter house, the yard, and the old workshop, so no one uses that old shed anymore. I'll leave it to you to decide where to go first. I've been given permission from Mother Francisca to enter the convent. Sister Suzanne will be accompanying me to answer my questions. I should explore and see what I can learn about the history of this place. Mother Francisca of Heidelberg. Abbess of Kirsa's community of Poor Clares, she was formerly the head of Coletin Poor Clares community in Heidelberg. God bless you, Magdalene. Here's the aquarium. Most of the abyss visitors come in here, but aren't allowed to enter. We aren't allowed to go into the outside world either. Like Mother Francisca said, isolation is part of our vows. Sister Gertrude once told me the old Benedictine sisters used to go out into town sometimes. I've even talked to men on occasion. And I'm stuck here staring at these walls for the rest of my life. It doesn't seem like Sister Suzanne thinks much of her life here. I can't blame her. Even so, she doesn't seem to have the passion that Sister Gertrude and the others have. She must have chosen to stay here for some reason. Maybe I should encourage her in her vocation. Even I've had days when I never wanted to be a printer again. Maybe I can help her see the joys of monastic life again. I don't want to overstep my bounds, though. You didn't always want to be a poor Clare sister? Huh? No, who would want to be a nun? My father promised me to the church as a baby. Some oath he swore when my mother struggled in her pregnancy. So there I was, dropped into the poor Clares the summer I turned 17. And I'm so sorry, no one should be forced into a life they don't want. We daughters are born to bear our family's legacy. Between our legs or on our backs, it doesn't matter. My family is devoted to the church. I've only been in the convent for 2 years, but I'm trying my best. I don't mind the prayers or the hours, and I'm sure of my devotion to the Lord, but this isn't what I wanted. But But since when did a woman ever get what she wanted without being punished? Eve couldn't even manage it. I understand. I have more autonomy to go where I want, but I'm still bound by the expectations of marriage and homemaking. I remember the days of running around town. I wish I could get married. I wanted to be a mother. Sometimes I get jealous of Sister Gertrude and even Sister Margaret. At least they got to see something of the outside world before they were 20. Don't forget Matilda and Wojslav. They used to be part of Kiersau too. Oh yeah, them too. Thanks for listening, Magdalene. Anyway, let me show you the rest of the cloister. Lead on. This is the chapel where we all gather for Mass and liturgy. It's the oldest part of the convent. And the most drafty. Hello again, Sister Gertrude. The sisters have done some minor retouches over the years, but it has represented the abbey from its earliest days. Oh, there's the tower and the library. The cloister is still being constructed here. Yes, the tower was a Bergfried long before the structure became a monastery. Bergfried, a freestanding defensive tower, not built for permanent habitation. The Ducey gifted it to the Benedictine order after the Holy Roman Empire grew. They had no use for it as a keep. This also protected Tassing from attacks of spirit and steel for generations. There's Latin here too. God called Lady Sabine to lead our sisters and brothers in 1261. Lord Kiersau's castle was destroyed by fire in the year of the death of Emperor Frederick II. Only the tower remained. Well done, Magdalene. Yes, the first lists the abbey. Yes, the first lists the abbey's founding date. The Lady Kiersau was actually the one to suggest the old castle be turned into a double monastery. We added the second shortly after the revolt. Mata Illuminata thought it would be fitting, even if the sisters here were not here, some record of what occurred would remain. Kiersau is unique, a double monastery with two saints, one male and one female, to guard the town and abbey. So the foundation of the abbey was even older than the Holy Roman Empire. Many things have been built and torn down on this land over generations. Who knows what else used to be here? You were right, sister. This mural will be a great reference for the Rathaus. Then I'm glad to have helped. God bless you, Magdalene. Oh, it's colder today. There's not much in the yard that could help you. I think anything that was here has long been covered in weeds. All I know about this place is that the walls were added when the convent was built onto the monastery. Oh, God bless you, Sister Benedicta. Sister Susanne, God bless you. This ice is hard. Do I recognize you, Sister Benedicta? I think I've seen you in town once or twice. Yes, you'd have seen her. Sister Benedicta is the youngest of the sisters. Mother Francisca allows only one sister to deal with the townsfolk. Benedicta received this privilege. They're more like I have to run around everywhere, gathering all the food and doing all the chores. I'd rather be inside where it's warm. What are you doing up in the convent anyway? Mother Francisca said I could look around. Oh, well, not let's get into waiting. Actually, Sister Benedicta, I wanted to ask you some questions. Do you like being a nun? Oh yes, I don't mind it at all. It's far quieter than home, and I don't have to share my bed with my siblings anymore. I'd like to help the older sisters, and I don't mind the chores, except when it's cold like this. One more question, Sister Benedicta. Have you seen any mysterious figures or ghosts lately? Ghosts? No, everything has been normal recently. I haven't noticed anything odd. Is this about Sister Mary's ghosts? I think it's Mauritius myself. Oh no. Oh? Mauritius? Don't tell Mother Francisca this, but I found an old book about Christian legends hidden in the workshop. It said that a Roman commander named Mauritius conquered Tassin, but the colony failed. Most of the town was empty until Christian refugees found the town hidden in the valley. It was a miracle. I wonder if this is a different retelling of Saint Maurice saving Tassin. Oh, maybe. I don't remember if the book mentioned any saints. The Latin was hard to read. Anyway, Sister Mary said she saw a ghost. I thought it must be Mauritius trying to get us out. A Roman ghost couldn't be happy about his tower being turned into an abbey, could he? What did you do with this book, sister? Oh, well, I had it with me in the kitchen one day, and I accidentally laid the fire poker on it. Oh my god, it must be completely destroyed. I tried to fix it, but it's unreadable now. Sorry, Magdalene. I suppose it's better that the book got some use before it was lost forever. Besides, that story gives me ideas for the Rat House mural. Thanks for telling me about the book, sister. I will tell Mother Francisca. God bless you, sister. Thanks, Magdalene. God bless you. Workshop is covered in dust. Yes, this was the Benedictine sisters' workshop. They used to make badges and art for pilgrims coming to see the hand of Saint Moritz. It looks like everything was just left here after the fire. Nothing's been used in years. Can't subsist on painting, and the poor Clares don't produce goods for sale, so we have no reason to be in here. But art allows us to find beauty in life. Even Christ said the Father clothed the lilies of the field in beauty. I agree, but that's not the rule of the poor Clares. Mother Francisca considers art a temptation into hedonism. Mother Francisca doesn't let us come in here unless to put something in storage. I've come in a few times and noticed some of the brushes have gone missing. Paint pots too. You think one of the sisters is secretly painting? Oh Lord, no, we all live too close together in the convent for something like that to go unnoticed. In any case, I think it's sad the workshop is left like this. Truthfully, Magdalene, I don't think you should join the convent, even if that's not what you were here to do anyway. Gertrude talks about you, and you seem to love your art. Without it, you'd hate it here. Just valuable paint left to dry and crack on the palette. There's an old parchment scrap here. It's different from the others. It looks like a scrap from a manuscript. There's something written in Latin in the margin. The Mithraium of Tassing had been destroyed by a flood. Mithraium, that's the same word I saw in the Roman section of the mine. Wait, this might be for the book Sister Benedicta found. I wonder why it would mention Mithraium. I don't know. It's not a word I've ever heard before. There's certainly nothing in the convent by that name. Well, the note says the Mithraium was destroyed, so I suppose it doesn't matter much now. These old badges are beautiful. I hope the pilgrims who bought them love them too. This is the kitchen. There's not anything that interesting here. Sister Mary and Sister Isabel take care of most of the kitchen duties, but everyone pinches in when needed. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless you, sister. How goes the cooking? As well as Lord wills it. My old fingers fumble from time to time, but it is my privilege to prepare supper for the other sisters. That's very noble of you. Just as God gave Paul a thorn in his side, so too did he give me the pains of age to strengthen my faith. Such things are a blessing when compared to the pains Christ carried upon the cross. But didn't Christ die so that we don't have to suffer unnecessarily? The next life, yes, but even Christ said we would face hardships while we live on this earth. I have chosen to find meaning and devotion to the Lord through my hardship. Thank you for sharing your perspective with me, sister. You are most welcome, child. God bless you. God bless you, child. Are you delivering something? No, sister, I'm learning more about the convent's history so that I can finish a mural in town. Ah, I see. The kitchen has been used for decades, longer than I've been alive to see so. I enjoy preparing meals for the sisters that nourish us, but I can never bring myself to butcher the animals. Sister Isabel has graciously taken on that task for me. We need sustenance, but I feel butchering any animal is wrong, according to the rule of Saint Francis. Saint Francis, mystic, friar and founder of the Franciscan order, born in Assisi to wealthy parents, Saint Francis was called to a life of poverty and preaching. With his follower Saint Clare, he helped found the order of poor Clares. Cause suffering to any living creature is unnecessary and evil, even if God granted Adam and Eve dominion over the animals. The kitchen is very simple. Is there anything here from the convent's founding days? No more than the structure itself, I'm afraid. Cookware needs replacing over the years. So, some nights a ghost appears to me by the cook fire, a lost spirit trapped between heaven and hell. Sister Mary, not this again. Not to Magdalene, please. What made you think you saw a spirit, sister? The figure rose up through the very ground we stand on at Viggles not a fortnight ago. Dawn and dusk are the hours when the boundaries between this world and the spiritual world are weakest. We may be the newest arrivals here, but this convent is very old. Perhaps there was something Roman underneath this foundation centuries before. The spirit may seek to know the presence of God now that it rests on holy ground. A spirit in Kiersa? Why would it come to the convent, though? It breaks my heart to think the spirit was crying out for help, trapped beyond heaven's reach. Why don't we keep going, Magdalene? It's better not to get Sister Mary too upset. Of course. God bless you, sister. God bless you, child. Well, you've seen the entire convent. There's not much here. What do you think of it? I can see why people choose the holy life, but it's not for me. Not without art. I understand. You've dedicated your whole life to your work. You'd struggle to give that up now. It's been so long since I've spoken to anyone from outside the convent. I'm reminded of the life I once had. Now you have me thinking about whether or not I should remain with the sisters. I think you should go. Your family just left you here. You don't owe the sisters anything. I do, though. The sisters have taken care of me. They love me and I love them. Even if this life wasn't my choice, they accepted me. Who knows, maybe it will get better in time. Maybe. I'll try to help any way I can, even if it's just sneaking around the convent wall to say hello. Really? That would be wonderful, so long as no one found out. Anyway, we should return to Mother Francisca before she suspects something. I learned a lot today. Thank you for showing me around the convent. No, thank you, Magdalene. Today has been more interesting than any I can remember in the Abbey. Come, let's find Mother Francisca. She'll be wanting to hear what you thought of the place. Well, Magdalene, what is your assessment of the poor Clares? Is the good Lord calling you to a life with me? With us as a sister? I am compelled by the devoted life the sisters lead, Mother Francisca, but I'm afraid I must tend to my father first. Of course, I understand. Caring for your father is in itself a noble path. However, if your heart leads you back up the hill, the doors to the convent are always open to you. Our community is quite modest compared to the splendor of an old Benedictine house operating under the rule of a powerful abbot. I see why fewer women are drawn to the order these days. Thank you for allowing me inside. You are most welcome, Magdalene. God bless you. Ah, Magdalene, how did your little expedition go? Well, I learned about the poor Clares, but not as much about the history of the Abbey as I wanted. But sister, there's something I don't understand. The Abbey was so prosperous. Why didn't the monks rebuild it after the fire? What a task that would be. The chapel was beautiful. The stained glass always caught my eye in the mornings. There was a great deal of anger and sadness in Tassing that night. The abbot felt the brothers and sisters were no longer welcome in Tassing and moved on. In truth, the Abbey's dissolution was inevitable. Kiersa was running out of money and patrons. The riot and fire were simply a particularly awful and painful way to end the monastery. Did anything survive the fire? Some of the buildings are intact, but all are terribly overgrown. I haven't dared forage in the rubble. I doubt you'll find anything of help for your mural inside other than charred wood and parchment. It might still be worth taking a look if I'm careful. I worry after you sometimes, Magdalene, I really do. Thank you for all your help, Sister Gertrude. You are most welcome, Magdalene. God bless you. The convent's chapel had a mural depicting the construction of Kiersau Abbey with the claim that the abbey was founded by Lady Sabine in 1261. I also found part of a page in the nun's old workshop. It had a painting on it of a strange building. Writing on the page said it was Tassing's Mithraeum and that it was lost in a flood. That's the second time I've seen a reference to a Mithraeum. What is it? I'm going to investigate the ruins of the abbey to see if I can find some answers. Sister Benedicta of Köln? The youngest of Kierso's burglars, Sister Benedicta deals more with the outside world than some of the other sisters. Well, that was, I don't know. I did learn more about the founding of Kierso. And that illustration from the manuscript, the Mithraeum, it was like the one in the mine. Is it part of the history of the Abbey of Tassing? It must be written down somewhere. If only the library hadn't burned down with everything in it. The ruins are right there. Maybe not everything was destroyed. My god, this is amazing. I wonder what it must have looked like before the fire. Everything collapsed in the fire. I'll have to be careful climbing over this rubble to get past. Oh shit. Oh no, I can't get back up there. If I climb it might collapse further. I'll have to find another way out. There's nothing left of the old staircase. I guess I can't go this way. These vines go all the way up to the top though. They look sturdy enough to hold my weight. Well, there's no other way out. I can see all of Tassing from here. I wonder if I can piece together the foundations of the abbey and find a way to get to the library. I bet I could get down this way. The roof looks pretty stable. Oh god. I remember when the library burned down. Dad told me I was just a baby, but I remember the flames coming out of the windows. So many people were screaming and running around. I cried myself to sleep that night. I haven't seen this place since then. It doesn't look like there's anything left inside. I suppose it was too much to hope for. Well, Magdalene, How are you going to get out of here? These roses seems to have made the abbey their home. I'm glad something beautiful is still growing here. These roses seems to have... I wonder if there were always this many cats at the abbey. Perhaps I can ask Voislav what he remembers during his time here. This place is a mess. How sad. The door's stuck. I can't get through this way. Täällä on joku vähän taiteilu. Oh, an old mural. It's worn, but I can still see some of the figures. Dance of Death. What? These figures look new. The paint can't be more than a few years old. Someone's been adding to this. This feels wrong. Who would add new figures to the Dance of Death? And why? These look like the people from the town from here. From here, people who died. That must be the Baron, and that's Otto. Wait, is that? Someone's here. Hello? Who are you? I think I've learned all I can from the ruins of the abbey. It's so sad seeing it like this. The paintings over the Dance of Death. I'm not sure what to make of them. I think they're supposed to be people who died around the time of the revolt. Who would do such a thing? Were they made by the person who's following me? Is it the same person who was at the mine? The person who attacked my dad? Tuo oli vielä se paroni. Tässä on se... Ferenc, oliko sen nimi? Se okkultiste. Joka ehkä tappoi parodin tai sitten ei. Siinä on Otto. Mä tiedän mitä tuo puu symboloi. Siinä on tämä Guy, joka kavalsi rahoja ja mahdollisesti tappoi Oton. Toika Andreas. Kuka tuolla ylhäällä on? Kaikkea sen naama on sutattu. Mielestäni jälkeenpäin ahvon näyttää kyllä enemmän Andrakselta. Onko toinen sitten Kaspar? The door. Whoever was watching me must have opened it. I don't like this. I think I've seen everything left of the Abbey. I want to get out of here. When did it start snowing? No, varmaan siinä aikana, kun sä olit siellä Luostarissa. Magdalene, dear, what brings you up the hill? Jack suggested I ask about your family for the mural. He said your sister used to tell him about your family history. Your family name was Caviezel, wasn't it? Oh. Not a soul in town has asked me about my family in years. I was beginning to think my neighbors had forgotten us. I am not surprised your father remembers the Caviezels. He was sweet on my sister before he met your mother. I am the last of us left now. You say it's Caviezel, not Caviezelin. I have always been called Caviezel, as were my sisters and mother and her mother before her. My grandfather told me that Caviezels have lived in this area for hundreds of years. Perhaps even 1,000, though it seems impossible to imagine a time so long ago. Toinen asia, mitä siellä mitraismista lukiessa huomasin, oli, että mitralaisuushan hävisi sitten siinä kohtaa, kun kristinuskosta tuli Rooman valtiousko, ja kristityt pääsivät sitten kurittamaan pakanoita. Mutta Alpeilla mitralaisuus ilmeisesti sinnitteli vielä 500-luvulla asti. Mikä siis olisi 1000 vuotta ennen tämän pelin tapahtumia. The Caviezel's were pagans? Yes, the original Bavarian people, here even before the Romans. My grandfather said his grandfather told him the Caviezel's resettled the town after the Romans left. Built their new home right on the spot where they had been living when the Romans arrived. But that's just a story. How do you know any of it is true? I heard it from my family. Do you think they would lie? I think they could misremember or forget or... yes, lie. Why does a story need to be true? However true it may or may not be doesn't matter, Magda. It matters that I believe that it connects me to my ancestors. When I think of the ancient Caviezel's driven from their land only to find it again and become Christians, they feel nearer to me. Do you understand? No, I don't. Keep your heart open to Christ and one day you will. Thank you, Elsa. You've given me much to consider. God bless you, Magdalene dear. I should get back to the rat house and get to work. I talked with Elsie about the history of her family. She said they were displaced from their land by the Romans but returned to the same spot as Christians after the Romans left. I think it might have been the same for many families in the centuries following Tassing's abandonment. It might be nice to commemorate the return of the local people in the mural. God bless you, Magdalene. Hello, Anna. How are you? Oh, keeping busy. There's always plenty to do around the house. How is the mural coming? Paul mentioned your progress is quite impressive. I'm making steady progress. I think I'll be finished just before the new year. Oh, how wonderful! I'll have to bring Andreas and Ulrika by some time to see your progress. We won't get in your way, of course. I'm sure they'd love to learn about the process. You're all more than welcome, but watch your step. There's plaster everywhere. I'll just mix a new patch to keep the wall moist. It's hard to maintain the right texture when it's so cold out. Oh, I can imagine. I had a similar problem when I helped my mother in the bakery. Rolling dough in winter was such trouble, and we had to throw out so many batches that wouldn't rise. Your discipline is admirable, Magdalene. You know, I was a real rascal back in the day. Skipped on working with my parents more times than I can count. But you're so hard-working, Anna. I can't imagine you making trouble. It is funny to consider, isn't it? I was a thief and a scoundrel. It started with cakes from my mother's table, still hot from the oven. Soon it was silverware, mugs, trinkets I found around town. Ulrika's little hat once even belonged to Andreas Mailer, your father's friend. I stole it from his head. Of course, stealing is against the Lord's commandments. So my father would make me return everything if I hadn't eaten it already and march me to church to pray. Father Thomas grew accustomed to seeing me more often than Sunday mornings. I guess you got tired of saying Ave Marias. That was part of it. I grew out of the habit over time. I think I started to see why my parents had such a devotion to the Lord. Stealing was my way of acting out. But when the trouble started in town, I realized that my thieving wasn't doing any good. I decided I'd rather honor my father and mother as God commands. It gives me grace with Andreas and Ulrika on the hard days, and with the rest of the town too. I think Ulrich would be proud. Thank you, Magdalene. That means more than you know. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I'm sure you have plenty of mural work to do. I'll see you later, Anna. God bless you, Magdalene. Magalan! Hello, Ulrich. Hello! What are you doing? Watching. Very well. Keep up the good work. Work? Just like Mom. I will work now. Ehkä vaikka kurkkaamassa ton metsänkin vielä. Onko täällä tapahtunut mitään? No, eipä täällä kyllä näytä paljon olevan. I don't have any reason to go back in. Besides, I'm too busy with the mural. Hi, Magda. Afternoon, Martha. You're visiting the smithy? Yes, Andrews is helping me make something for Dad. Dad loves his morning walks, but his legs start aging after a little while, so we can't go far. I've been given a challenging project, to say the least. I've been discussing it with Baltas for a while. He has all sorts of ideas. Baltas came up with a kind of sportive frame for Dad's leg, inspired by the quiz and grieve. He hopes it could help Dad put less weight on the injury. With this, maybe it'd be possible to help him move around without so much pain. The design requires all manner of metal parts, though. I hope I'm up to the task. Some of the smaller bits may be a problem. I have faith in you, Andres. The design sounds intricate, exactly like something Baltas would come up with. Isn't he brilliant? Dad needs the encouragement. He becomes so much sadder when autumn arrives. I haven't actually told him about any of this yet. I want it to be a surprise. A gift for Christmas if all goes well. I hope it does. Good luck, Martha. Thank you, Magda. We'll talk more soon, and alright? Of course. Be well. Mäkin lääkäri on käyty korjaamassa kadulta. God bless you, Magdalene, darling. And you as well, Gret. Nico sent me to fetch Hannah's birthday gift. Ah, of course, I have it right here. I'm rather happy with how it came out. One of my best, I think. Ulrich would have been proud. I've always loved your pastries. They're delicious. All the process needs is plenty of love and care put into it, and God's grace, and honey. Off you go then, Nico is awaiting. Give them my best wishes. Until later. Oh. Täällähän on sotkusta. Magdalene, what do you want? Hello, Dr. Stoltz. I have a book here, and I can't read it very well. I was wondering if you could help me translate it. No. But No, Magdalene, I can be bothered by your lack of literacy. Hey, it's not stupid and I'm not illiterate. God damn you, I said no. Leave. Everyone is too distracted by their own work or doesn't know Latin well enough to read the Historia Tasiae. I suppose I won't be able to use this reference for the mural after all. Eiks pauttas nyt kai, et aina ja. Hetki miettiä, että mihin mä olinko menossa. Mutta tänne majataloon siis. Good to see you, Magdalene. Were you able to stop by the Albans? I have Hannah's pastry here. Great sense of best wishes. Perfect. Hannah will love this. Thank you, Magdalene. It's the little things, you know. I'm glad I could help. We haven't always been good to each other, me and Hannah. But after the revolt, things had to change. I try to find ways to show her I appreciate her now. The golden hand would fall down without her. And she knows it. I want her to know that I know it too. I've kept you too long. Thank you again for the help, Magdalene. Until later, Nico. No, siinä oli kaikki varmaan tämän päivän osalta. Mä tarkistan, ettei kartalla ole mitään merkattu. Tuo Gertnerin tilahan nyt on vielä merkattu, mutta mä uskon, että se on bugi. Magdalene. Dr. Stoltz. So you're doing quick walk at the mural, eh? I hope that doesn't make you sloppy. I'm trying to finish it in time for Dad, you understand? You'd best walk quickly, then he doesn't have much time left. Thanks for the encouraging words as always, Doctor. In any case, the council wants to hear what you're doing. I've been researching the early Christian history of Tassing after the Romans left. Learning how people settled in the ruins, how the abbey was founded, and how that why our saints are so important to us. It was a lot to take in, but I settled on my subject. And? I'll paint the Bavarians settling among the Roman ruins, starting the Christian history of Tassing. You may find that ignoring the saints in favor of such mundane portrayal of events is unwelcome. Even so, I suppose it is an important step in the history of Tassing. Remember, the mural isn't for your benefit, but to make Tassing look good. I remember. Very well. After this section, there's still much work to do. I haven't even figured out how I'm going to portray the revolt. Ah, yes. I imagine it poses difficulties that other murals do not. It's a strange thing to tell a story that still lives in the hearts of so many people here. I don't think anyone wants to talk about it. They've all just locked it away. It sounds like you have your work cut out for you. I'll leave you to it then. Oh, Dr. Stoltz. Yes. Have you seen someone lurking around the abbey? Or heard about it? I haven't been up to the abbey in years, and no, I haven't heard of anything like that. Why? I've seen someone following me a few times. No, I don't know anything about it. Now, if there's nothing else... No, good night, Dr. Stoltz. Good night, Magdalene. Now I only have the final parts of the mural to finish. How should I paint the revolt? Dad always talked about how the Archdeacon was the only one seeking justice in those days. But what was his name? The only name I can remember is the name of the archdeacon who came to Tassing when that baron was killed. Jacob Estler. Maybe he brought an account of the revolt as an archdeacon. I'll write to him and ask. And of course I need to write back to Esther too. I'll write to them tonight, before bed. Alright, where to begin? I'll write to the archdeacon, Jacob Estler, and see if he can tell me about the revolt. I'll write a letter to Esther too. I hope the courier can make it through the passes before winter. Jacob Estler, formerly Archdeacon of Racing. My name is Magdalene Drukarin. I am an artist in the town of Tassing in Upper Bavaria. I believe you passed through our community when you investigated Baron Rothvogel's murder at Kirsow Abbey in 1518. Do you remember anything about that case that the people in Tassing might not remember? In particular, do you remember anything about someone writing notes to provoke the killer? More have appeared in Tassing in subsequent years, seemingly harbingers of death. Thank you for any help you can give. Magdalene Drukarin. Dearest Esther, I hope you are well. You must know how tremendously happy I am for you and Simond. And Elisha too, of course, and your parents. It warms my heart to know that your family is doing so well. By the time this letter reaches you, I expect winter will have enfolded Tassing. He's already freezing at night, so I reorganized the workshop so that the inks don't deteriorate. Do you have to worry about that in Prague? You said it snows, but I always imagined it was warmer in winter. Dad's condition is so much worse and he's in so much pain. Dr. Stoltz has been, well, he's a useless asshole. Only God knows why he's such a bitter old man, but he's neglected Dad almost entirely. Some days he doesn't show up, and even if he does, he just snaps instructions at me and rushes off. I just wish I understood why. I worry about Dad. I've asked Agnes for help, but there's only so much we can do alone. He's not going to make it, and there's nothing I can do. Christ, I'm scared, Esther. The mural is progressing well, but I can't shake the feeling that someone is following me. I keep seeing this figure around town. After I explored the mines to see Tassing's early history, and then again in the Abbey ruins. No one else in Tassing has seen anything, but some of the nuns say they've seen ghosts. It's the strangest thing, given me a fright a few times already. But I don't mean to worry you. Nothing's happened to me yet, so I think I'll be safe. The only good news I can share at the moment is that the mural is almost finished. I should have it completed by Christmas, or soon after, before the new year at least. Then perhaps at long last I shall be able to visit you and meet this Simond. Anyway, I fear that this will be my last letter of the year. The rice post has already been laid and reported worsening snows through the passes. We seem to be stepping into a harsh winter. Stay warm and give my regards to your family and Simond. Yours always, Magda. I wrote a letter to Esther. I'm worried this might be the last one I'll be able to send before snow closes the passes. Hopefully I'll get a response before spring at least. It's getting late. I should get some sleep. Jacob Estler, former Archdeacon of the Prince Bishop of Rising, presided over the investigation of the murder of Baron Rothvogel in 1518. How did this get here? Stop. This is just like the note Dad found. Who's doing this? I have a feeling I'm going to find out sooner or later. I need to ask Dad about this. It can't be a coincidence. But he's been so weak, I don't want to upset him. I just need to wait for the right time. I hope there is a right time. Hello, Magdalene. It's late, I should get some rest soon. Mr. Stukarin, only one letter for you today. The passes are impossible to travel, so the heavy snow is hard on the horse and bee. Anyway, happy Advent, my dear. Thank you. The same to you. Ah, a reply from Jacob Estler. Mr. Strukerin, I do recall for that vocal case, though it has been over a decade since I have served as an archdeacon. I am no longer associated with the office of the Prince Bishop. In fact, I am no longer associated with the Catholic Church. If you do not mind conversing with a Lutheran, I will tell you what I remember. The notes you mentioned do stir something in my memory. One of the men I questioned at Kiersau was an artist from Nuremberg, Andreas Mailer. He mentioned finding notes written in a fine hand, inciting individuals to violence against the Baron. While the scope of my investigation was too narrow to look into the matter, it did concern me. Finding more notes now after so many years must mean that their author is still alive. If this is the case, a serpent has lain coiled in the bosom of your community for decades. It may lay there still. What causes this serpent to awaken every few years to stage a new killing? I fear that finding the answer to that question may draw you into its reach. However, if you are determined to find the source of the trouble, I believe you must inquire with your neighbors. I urge caution in your investigation into this matter. If the serpent merely sleeps, it may be dangerous to poke into its old resting places. I hope this has been of some help to you. May God bless you and keep you safe. Jacob Estler. No reply from Esther this time. It must have been delayed due to the heavy snow. The postman said I won't receive any more letters until spring. I'd better get back to the Rathaus then. Still more work to be done. Jouluaatto. Good morning, Dad. I finally caught up on the mural and now I can start the final part today. I promise I'll get it done. Magdalene, I'm proud of you. Thanks, Dad. I'm sorry, Dr. Stoltz said you can't come to the festivities tonight. I know how much you love the Berchtenlauf. Berchtenlauf, a Germanic folk ritual celebrated around Christmas time, in which townsfolk dress as Berchten and drive evil spirits from the town to protect it in the coming new year. As always, next year. Right. How are you feeling? Dr. Stoltz said he would come by again today. Fine, I'm fine. Nice. Maybe I should stay home with you today. Oh, Magdalene, if you want to walk, you should walk. It's alright. In fact, my spirits are lifted today. It's Christmas Eve after all. Of course. What's wrong? Dad, I found a note back in November. A note? What do you mean? It was like a note I found in your plans for the murals. Just a scrap of parchment. It looked like it came out of an old manuscript. Elaborate writing, purple ink. It just said stop. Do you know where they came from? Who wrote them? Magdalena. Oh god, that must be Ötzi. He said he'd drop by with more firewood. If you know something, I'd like you to tell me, alright? I know, I will. Can we talk about it later? Dad? I'll tell you, I promise. Alright. I'll be back later. Good. Take care of yourself out there. I need to get to work on the last part of the mural, but Ötzi said he'd step by this morning. I should go out to meet him. Tsekataan vielä tääkin puoli. Still as messy as ever. Morning, Magdalene. Morning, Ed. Cold out, isn't it? Freezing. Makes me envy Nico, able to stay inside all day. Even Endres has his force to keep him warm. Anyway, here I brought some firewood for you and your dad. Thank you, Ed. You're welcome. So, how's your dad? You think he can join everyone for Christmas Mass? I think I'll stay in bed tonight. I'll do my best to be there. I need to keep working on the mural though. I'm working on the final section. About the peasants' revolt, right? It feels weird to talk about. It affected Tassing so much, but we were just kids. I can't remember what happened since I was just a baby. I never even knew my dad. That's what makes it difficult. I need to ask those who were already adults that night, but don't want to touch raw nerves. What if you spoke to people while everyone was preparing for the Christmas festivities? Clara sometimes talks about that night. Mom too. You might be able to ask them. Voislav and Matilda are the only two Benedictines left living in Tassing. Maybe they'll talk to me. Oh, I didn't think of that. Still, the mural is for Tassing, not the old abbey. Agnes has always been in Tassing, right? I'd go to her if I were you. Dad said she helped bury everyone who died that night. I wonder if she'd talk about it. It's your project, Magdalene. Might be worth a try. I wrote to the old archdeacon about it too. He thinks that the Baron's murder and Otto's death are connected to the revolt. The who? It doesn't matter. What if all the deaths in Tassing are connected? I don't see how that old Baron has anything to do with the revolt. Are you feeling alright? I think you're looking for connections that aren't there. Maybe this mural project is getting to you. Maybe you're right. I just can't shake the feeling someone is following me. You're acting weird. I'll figure it out somehow. Thanks for the wood. See you later, Max. That is right. I should start talking to people around town. I'd better get started if I want to talk to everyone before the Bergtenlauf. Earth has some good suggestions for my investigation. Many of the participants and witnesses of the peasant revolt are still alive and dashing. I should speak with Agnes Steinarone about what she remembers. Clara's husband was right in the middle of everything. I should talk to her as well. There are probably a lot of people gathering at the Golden Hand to prepare for the Christmas feast. Some of them must have memories about what happened. Mutta se jää ensi kerralla. Onko ensi kerta huomenna, onko ensi kerta torstaina? En tiedä. Ensi kerta tuskin on perjantaina. Mutta mahdollisesti viikonloppuna. Ja ensi kerta saattaa olla viimeinen kerta. Tämä peli menee ensi kerralla vihdoinkin läpi. 10 osaa olisi ainakin ihan mukaan pyöreä luku lopettaa. Ja jos mä pääsen ensi kerran aloittamaan vähän aikaisemmin kuin vasta 9 jälkeen, niin sekin auttaisi. Mutta nyt kiitoksia taas kerran mukana olleille. Hyvää alkanutta viikkoa. Ihan tiistai jo. Ja sillä vissiin. Hei hei hei.